Hi guys, I just wanted to hop on really quick. I got a pretty in-depth question. Well, it's an easy question, but it's just like a little bit of an in-depth answer, and I just thought it'd be better if I talk through it. So we have one of you beautiful ladies within the community and within the formula that has done an amazing job going on a strict AIP diet and has also done the MRT test. So we got really good information back on that test. But unfortunately, she's not necessarily seeing the results that she wants. And those, remember, are our small goals adding up. So we're still dealing with fatigue, brain fog, and allergies and eczema are like even worse. We're still dealing with IBS symptoms. So I want to address this. This actually is brought up in week 10. There is like a whole section or a whole like part of the course that is called When Your Perfect Diet Isn't Working, because a lot of people will deal with this. They'll go on a really clean diet. Maybe for a while they'll start feeling better, but in actuality, things aren't improving. So this is when you want to look at, well, first of all, let's step back. When you start eating cleanly, there could be like yeast, bacteria, and parasite die-off that could just be getting like you're just getting rid of the crap from your body. And that can cause like your symptoms be even worse than they have been. I know that when I cut out, I didn't realize how much sugar I was actually having in my diets from like the cans and the boxes and like the healthy granola bars and actually all the fruit I was eating. Like I used to eat like a banana a day, then like a piece of apple or like an apple. So I was actually having a lot more sugar than I realized. And for 2 weeks, I had like intense headaches, and like I never get headaches. So that was like a big, like, what the heck, man, I'm eating cleanly and now I'm feeling worse. So there could be a bit of that going on. You might want to play around with your ratios of your protein, your fat, and your carbs. Maybe try to get a little bit more fat into your diet and protein, because a lot of times with the autoimmune paleo diet, we go really carb heavy. And maybe that's just putting like blood sugars all over the place. And you can have some adrenal fatigue, which could really impact like your fatigue and the brain fog. And the probably like the most annoying thing is that you actually might have a histamine intolerance. Um, and it's just getting worse because a lot of the foods that we bring into our diet, especially on an autoimmune paleo diet, are full of histamines. So these things are like sauerkraut, vinegar, kombucha, avocado, spinach, like anything pickled or in olives. Those are high in vinegar. You got your cured meats like bacon, deli meats, dried and citrus fruit are high in histamine. You got smoked fish. So if you're having like too much smoked salmon, but also like mackerel, mahi-mahi, tuna, anchovy, sardines, shellfish. I mean, obviously alcohol is a high fermentation, but we're not on that. Dairy products like yogurt and aged cheese, and even things like eggplants, bananas, tomatoes, wheat germ, beans, papaya, chocolate, nuts, walnuts, cashews, peanuts, and a lot of dry foods. These are just really high in histamines. So have a look at your diet and see if you are like, go back and maybe use the food diary again, or if you've been keeping track, like go back and see how much histamine foods you've brought into your diet. And if you're like, oh yeah, like I have actually a lot of those, what I would be doing, because you have the MRT test, so you can feel really confident in the things that are green that you're not intolerant to, and maybe bring some of that back in. And if you are eating a lot of high histamine foods, and that includes bone broth, actually, that's not on the list. Meat broth isn't as high as bone broth. So just have a look at your diet and see if you're really high in histamine foods, because that could be like massively triggering any gut health issues. The other thing that is important to really notice, or like to talk about here, is your gut lining. So if you've been dealing with reoccurring miscarriages, you're having IBS, you're having the fatigue, the brain fog, you're having eczema, allergies, those are all like really big red flags for us that you might have leaky gut. So when you have leaky gut, just eliminating your food intolerances isn't going to heal your gut that quickly. So it's a great start, but it will take time. And I just did a post about this. So you definitely want to, get real about your stressors. So it's not just your food intolerances. I know foods, I feel like sometimes go hand in hand with supplementation. They're tangible. And so we feel like we're controlling the situation by doing this perfect diet, being on all these right supplementations. But if you're not dealing with the stress that you had maybe before fertility issues, and certainly during fertility issues, or even if we haven't like looked into getting the mental and emotional support around our fertility issues, especially miscarriages, this is really an important place to like just get real with yourself and say, okay, where do I need to put my focus on? Every single client, including myself, has to have a really hard look at that area. And we are all at different stages in our mental and emotional healing. So, if you're even old to the game, like you've done, uh, you're doing meditation, you're doing visualization, you're doing, you got the vision boards, you're doing all those things. Your next step is to look at releasing emotional trauma. And obviously there's a part in the course about that as well. And that could be kind of like where you go next. But all the red flags that you have said, I would say that your gut health just isn't up to par yet. So yeah, like I said, in week 10, we talk about when your perfect fertility diet isn't working. Week 8, we get into the supplementation that would be incredibly important for really maximizing letting the gut heal and really helping the gut lining heal. And that's usually a 3-month protocol. And there's like a supplement or a titration sheet in there as well. So you pinpoint the supplements that you want to take and you titrate them. So one at a time. So you see if you react well on that supplement, and then you use those supporting. I mean, obviously week 9, we get into like more gut health and why it's important. So that's probably where I would go with you. Like, I'm super glad that you've noticed the apple and coconut. I would start everything on your MRT test that is in green, you can reintroduce those foods in. Definitely stay away from anything that are yellow and red. Look at the histamine foods and see, if you're eating too much of that, and cut back on those and see if that helps. And then you obviously have access to the gut health test, the Biome FX. I would highly recommend that for you. If you haven't seen the results from an elimination diet, especially the autoimmune paleo diet, and you're still getting kind of these really big noticeable issues, you got to dig deeper. That test will absolutely help you see where you need to improve and what things are just like out of whack. Yeah, there's links in there so you can see like a sample report. To be honest, clients who have been on a strict autoimmune paleo diet for a really long time do that test, and there's still like massive room for improvements for everyone, just because our like environments are so bad, and our stress levels, and no matter what perfect diet you're on, if you are stressed to high heaven, it can really put you off whack, especially if you feel you're pretty confident that you didn't ovulate this month. We really need to start digging in and seeing what's going on. So I would encourage you to have a look at that test. You just order it from the website. And if you don't want a review with the test, when you get your test results, there's like a whole pamphlet, like literally explaining the test. Like you just have to go, go through it. The test, when you speak to your doctors about this, the only thing that they might be open to, like I don't know what type of doctor you are or you have, but if they're really open to doing some testing for you, that's amazing. The only thing that I can actually recommend is a SIBO, a small intestine bacterial overgrowth test. That might be really useful. But I'm not joking when I say my clients' doctors have said, I don't believe in them. It's just ridiculous. And SIBO is just a really tricky thing. But that could be, if they're open to running that test for you, that could be something for you to really look into. I don't think many doctors would do a significant gut health test like the one that you can just buy from this course. I don't think any doctor will have anything close to that. It will really pinpoint if you do have leaky gut issues. It will just pinpoint so many amazing things that we can get really targeted for you with the diet. I mean, it's insane. The gut microbiome, they say where you're weak, and then it has links to what foods will help that gut microbiome. When you get into the supplement regime of the course, there's actually 3 probiotics that I recommend, and people with gut health issues, I recommend them getting on all 3. They all have different no, I'm trying to blank on the bacterias, right? So they're not all the same. And it's really, we're kind of cheating our way to just like maximizing our gut health with that. So it's really, you only want to do that for 3 months and then reevaluate, because we don't, we should be using food to really keep that up, and maybe one probiotic, use that probiotic, and then you can switch to a different one with different strands in it, and then you switch to a different one. We don't want to be doing the same thing over and over again. And if the probiotics maybe aren't working, we're not seeing the results, then it's not a case of like, well, let's just keep going with it. So you'll see that You'll also see supplements to help with the leaky gut and really heal that up. Because if you have a histamine intolerance, like bone broth is one of the best things to use to really support your gut. But if you have a histamine intolerance, then it's just, you can't use it. It doesn't work, quote unquote. I'm really excited that your husband is doing this with you. And I'm really excited that he's seeing results. And I feel your frustration that maybe you aren't seeing the results that you want as well. It was the exact same thing with me and my husband, because he didn't have deep underlying gut issues, which it sounds like you do. And so we just have to do a little bit more targeted approach on that. So I hope this helps. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure where you are in the course, but hopefully if you haven't reached week 10 yet, that will be opening up for you soon. I have done in the past for people who want to get access to the fully open course and have it for 2 years. I give you guys a coupon code for what you've already spent within the formula, and then you just pay the remaining, because the monthly, I know it takes a little bit of time for the course to open. And if you're like, okay, I really want to jump in, or yeah, I just had someone who had the course for a few months but wasn't able to do it. Life got in the way, and so she just paid the remainder, and now has access for 2 years. And then you get the coupon code for the community for another 4 months on top of that. So if that's something that you want to do, just reach out. I can totally do that for you. But yes, so just to recap, you want to look at your histamine foods. You definitely want to start reintroducing foods off of the MRT that you can feel confident. But if they're histamine foods, then obviously let's not do that for the moment. You definitely want to work on healing your gut. So looking at what supplement protocol you can get on for that. I know you said you stopped all supplements. I'm actually going to do a post next week and give everyone the opportunity, if they want, to put the list of supplements they have, they're taking or were taking, and really have a deep dive conversation about that. That's one of the things that I do with my one-to-one clients, is they give me their supplementation, and I basically try to minimize what they're actually taking and really point out like things that they don't need, or maybe are just taking because someone said this worked. Or to be honest, even right now, I have a client who is working with a naturopath doctor, and yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed in the supplement regime that her and her husband have been put on. They're not very targeted to what they need at the moment. So I want to give everyone an opportunity to talk about that, and just get on the right things, and stop wasting our money, because man, I wasted a lot of money on supplements, so I know how frustrating it is. So watch out for that post. I'll do it next week, and we can have a more in-depth conversation about your supplements if you want. And reach out with any questions when you get into that gut supplement, where you think you should go, and I can definitely help you. There's always the opportunity to book a one-on-one consultation, which might be really beneficial to you. I already know a little bit about your history, so if we can have like a personal chat, or even if you can make the group coachings as well, to dive a little bit more, that's kind of where the magic lies, to really help you guys just get exactly where you need to be. Okay, so I hope this helps. Please reach out with any more questions, and you guys have a beautiful rest of your weekend. Bye.